We're going to be starting with key players, and I'm excited to talk Mac Jones, who is obviously the first key player, as is always. The first quarterback is the first key player. Mac Jones, last season, he pretty much solidified himself as a average to above average starting quarterback. Let me know if you disagree with that, because I can understand if you do. But in my eyes, he became kind of like that rookie Kirk Cousins, and I think we're going to see a little bit of an improvement on that coming into this year. Even though the weapons didn't really improve, he has a good jump ball receiver in Devontae Parker, who we're going to talk about later, and he has a good running game. O-line remains basically the same, maybe a little bit of a weakness in Cole Strange, but I think overall Mac Jones has the same system around him, and the only difference is going to be offensive play calling, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, I think this obviously I think one of the most important things for a young quarterback is continuity. And I think again, like you said, coaching wise, at least in terms of offensive play calling, you may not have that, but the team, it operates very similar. And I think the only changes that they did make were kind of beneficial, I would say. Like I think Devontae Parker, it really helps to have a boundary receiver who can just go and get one-on-one balls. And I think that's the kind of guy that he is. And then you've got also, again, like you said, that running game, Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson. They added some guys in the draft as well. The offensive line is still, I think, very good. Definitely top 10 in my opinion. Cole Strange, again, we'll talk about that later. But I think if he does live up to the first round pick, then I think he'll be a great piece of that offensive line as well. So I think in terms of offense, doesn't have that many weapons, but I think overall it's a pretty stable situation, at least in terms of the overall supporting cast, not just the weapons.
So reports have come in from training camp saying that Mac Jones is much leaner, much quicker, and much more agile. What does that add to his game? Because I know his game is really Tom Brady-like in the way that he kind of just stands tall in the pocket, looks at his first three reads, and makes decision based on that. But if he kind of adjusts to the NFL and makes his game more similar to the Patrick Mahomes, the Kyler Murray, the Lamar Jackson, how do you think this Patriots team changes? Because I've never seen a quarterback in this team be able to do that. Even Cam Newton was a stand tall in the pocket type of guy. It
Yeah.
was
I mean, I don't think he's ever going to get to the level of Mahomes,
obviously.
Allen, or Lamar in terms of scrambling ability. But I think we kind of knew that Mac Jones wasn't the most like physically gifted or even like physically in shape. He wasn't out of shape necessarily, but he just wasn't like like he wasn't like necessarily like a strong quarterback who could like
Sling the ball that
sling
far.
sling
Yeah.
the ball far, and also to kind of obviously his body like didn't want to take like too many hits. Again, he wasn't like in that kind of shape, but he really, one of the things we talked about is that he really did a lot of work in the offseason. He really kind of prioritized his body, and he's like, you see all his teammates saying he looks in a lot better shape. He looks ready for the season. Obviously, his coaches are also saying that, and also saying that he looks a lot more in command of the offense. And again, for a rookie, he already looked pretty in command of the offense. So if he can improve on it, I think that's very, very scary. We could even see him progress into, I don't know, maybe even a top 10 quarterback, because I don't think you necessarily need like physical. You don't need to be like, you don't need to sling the ball like 80 yards downfield to be a top 10 quarterback. He needs to be in command of the offense, in good control. And if Mac Jones can improve on that from last season, even with a kind of, an average receiving core, I think he can potentially be a top 10 quarterback. But I think all the signs that from training camp, from OTAs, from minicamp, it's all been very promising.
So bringing up comparisons, I think it's time to play a fun game. We don't do this often on Buster Booms. We're kind of straight to business, But we're going to play a game here. I'm going to spring it on you right off the go. Is Mac Jones better than the following? Ready?
Yep.
Ryan Tannehill,
Yes, I think no doubt. He really relies on the system, Tannehill.
Kirk Cousins.
No, I think Kirk is pretty underrated. I think he did well
I would
last year.
say Mac Jones is a little bit worse than Kirk Cousins. I'm going to bring you two more. Jalen Hurts.
Better. I think Hurt. I
I
think I'm really high on Hurts going into next year, going to this year. But I think right now Mac is the better
I would say
quarterback.
Mac Jones as well. I'm in all three agreement. Last one, Derek Carr.
No, Carr's better.
I'm
Carr's better.
in agreement again.